Hi, I'm Jean Fiorini. Thanks for being here for the Tarot Tips. Today we're going to talk about the thing that is by far the most common topic at the tarot table, and that is relationships. I'm going to show you a very simple method to begin the conversation with either yourself or a client around the issue of relationships by using a method that's included in my Tarot Spreads and Layouts book. The subject of that book, or the main theme of that book, is simple ways to use your tarot. And the beauty of this method is that you don't even have to start with a question. Relationships can be very complicated. We have a lot of different things that we might want to know or have clarification around when it comes to relationships. So even though I'm a huge proponent, as you may know, of being clear about what your real question is, the beauty of this layout or method is that you can start your inquiry into a relationship by just looking at the dynamics that are involved. That's essentially the question or the query that this layout is built on. What are the dynamics at work between myself and the other person? Now keep in mind that as we're working with this method, this is a layout or a method that you should only be working with yourself and other people. It really isn't appropriate to say or to ask the question, what's going on between Joe and Elise? Okay, you really want to stay out of that. That's bad manners. That's been covered in a tarot tip about what's a no-no. You don't go into other people's business. But in terms of the effectiveness of this method, it's really a very good way, number one, to start the inquiry into a relationship. And it gives you a very good place to start without having to really get serious about, okay, what's my real question about the relationship? Because the essential not meaning, but the thing that we're looking for is, who am I in relationship to this person, and who are they in relationship to me? Let me also say that when you're working with this layout, that's your place with them, not your place maybe with your parent or your child. It's your specific energy as it might relate to that other person, and their specific energy as it might relate to you. So what happens when the two of you combine, or when your energies click? So let's go to the tarot table and I'll show you an example. Okay, when you're working with this method, even though you can deal your cards out from the top of the deck in order, I like the random draw here. I like to be able to have access to intuitively pick cards for each person who is being considered when we're looking at this really simple relationship spread. So we're just going to start with the random pile, and the idea here is pick 2 cards for me and 2 cards for the other person. I think it's real important to keep the cards face down before you start to look at anything that's been drawn, so that you don't get distracted by what does that mean? Oh, what's that trying to tell me? Don't go there yet. Pick 2 cards for you, 2 cards for the other person. So I'm just going to make up a scenario here and say, okay, here's person 1. Here's 2 cards for them. Here's person 2. Here's 2 cards for them. Now again, we're going to get these out of the way. Put these guys in the frame. I always like to look at the person for whom we're drawing the cards first. That would be this person. Okay, so what's my energy in regards to this person? Okay, I'm without looking at the other pair, I'm going to look at that card and say that person is knowing that they're not going to get what they want out of this situation. They're feeling outside. There's no point in talking to the other person. There's really a feeling of outsidership. And geez, I thought I was going to get something from this relationship, and I am not. Let's see what the other person is holding. 6 of Cups in the Moon. Okay, so we get 2 totally different things. We have a pentacle and a sword on one hand. So in tangible ways and in how it's perceived, person number one is on the outs here. There's a sense of frustration over here. Person number two gets a cup card and a major arcana card, another water card. So this person is very much in the emotions of it. This person, first person is more in the perceptions and the pragmatic way of looking at it. It's interesting that we're looking at relationships. Person one gets this Six of Cups. In some ways, they think things are fine. There's a friendship there, there's a connection there, there's an emotional relationship there that's intact. But the Moon card does indicate that there's something for that person going on under the surface, that there's something unspoken, there's some unsettledness there. So I'm not going to draw cards for clarification, but let me make the point that this is a great layout to start the inquiry into a relationship. Some suggested questions might be, is there anything, what's my best approach to this other person? If this person is me, all I can control is what I do. So what can I do to try to connect better with this person? What does this person need from me? In this case, I'm just going to pull a guiding helper card just to sort of wrap up the little reading that we've done here. But that's one of the things that you will find as a resource in my Tarot Spreads and Layouts book is a wide variety and selection of questions that you can ask around any, in terms of developing and expanding the layout. Because the spreads themselves are simple, but they're also very well built for expansion. But in this case, for our purposes here, I'm just going to pull a helper card. If this is me, if this is the querent, this is the other person I'm dealing with. The things to look for here are: where is their compatibility? Where is their friction? Where are there elements that are complementary, and where are there elements that are pulling in different directions or have different perspectives? I think we see that piece here, that these two people are experiencing this same relationship from two different perspectives. This one more pragmatic and this one more on the emotional. But I think we could look at that also and say that neither one of these people is exactly getting what they want, even though this one might feel like they're in a little bit better position than the first person here. So being mindful that you're going to look for compare and contrast kind of things when you're using this layout. Where are things working? Where could things be improved? What's the perspective? Who's coming from what position? Where might we be able to find common ground? And where is there really no point in pursuing? Okay, so there's just some general guiding questions, but your questions will pop up from your experience of your connection with the other person when you look at these images. So it's a great place to start, and we're going to pull a helper card here. Queen of Wands. If that card is for the querent and a helper card, even though it comes reversed, I would say be a little bit more, bring some fire into the situation. There we get another element. Speak your will. Say what it is that you want. You may or may not get it, but to not let this thing just sort of creep along. It doesn't really look like the other person's going to do much to change things. It's probably up to the person number one here, if this is their helper card, to push this wheel and see where it goes. Okay, that's a real simple, basic way to start your inquiry into a relationship. A couple of things to recap. Keep in mind that you need to mind your manners. You only use that layout. It's like don't play with matches. Don't be intrusive when you're using that layout. Ask questions that have direct connection between you and other people. It can be very clarifying. You might be surprised to see how much information you can get just from 4 cards, and you may not need to ask any further questions. But it's also a great layout for expansion and development. You can build on that. You could end up with 20 cards there. But whatever it is that you need to help clarify your relationship, that's a very good place to start. So thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time. Next time we are going to address the issue of timing. So stay tuned, and thanks a lot.